Before I dive into the review, it is much, much more important to talk about the sad, gut-wrenching, devastating, and absolutely tragic as fuck news that Terry Funk has passed away at the age of 79. The hardcore legend, the living legend, a man that bled on multiple continents, across multiple promotions. He starred in Amarillo, Texas, along with his brother Dory Jr., their father, Dory Funk Sr., so powerful in the NWA, even though that promotion was geographically isolated. Along with Dory Funk Jr., Terry became NWA World Heavyweight Champion back when the NWA World Heavyweight Championship meant something, and that would have been enough to hang his big old hat on. But he continued to reinvent himself. Memphis, Japan, he was a god in Japan. They loved him in Japan. WCW, a couple stints in the WWF. During the Attitude Era, even though he was Chainsaw Charlie, yeah, Kevin Dunn, they knew who the fuck Terry Funk was, because he's Terry goddamn Funk. And he even broke into Hollywood. Sylvester Stallone respected him. And so many memorable moments, promos, calling Dusty Rhodes an egg-sucking dog, and doing the moonsault, and Smoky Mountain Wrestling, and Bullet Bob Armstrong moving out of the way, and Cornette asking him, Terry, what are you doing here? Corny, I don't know. And it's impossible not to do a Terry Funk impression, however bad it is, but the man absolutely bled, sweat, broke his body for professional wrestling. He influenced so many during his prime, after his prime when he was still doing shots. Mick Foley, so many people took inspiration, loved him, and Terry Funk so well respected. One of, or maybe, in the case of some, arguably the greatest to ever do it, a 5-decade-long career. I'll do a tribute, possibly a two-parter at some point, but you can leave your favorite Terry Funk moments in the comments, but it's just, this one hurts. This one hurts. It's sadly not unexpected given the amount of punishment his body took, but truly, truly one of the all-time greats. Truly somebody you could say if he wasn't in professional wrestling, it would be drastically different. Rest in peace, Funker. Rest in fucking peace. Now, I'm John Renton with my review of AEW Dynamite Fyter Fest 2023 from Duluth, Georgia. And we're closing in on AEW All In at Wembley Stadium. 80,000 plus fans. And then the next Sunday we have AEW All Out. They're really expecting U.S. customers to pay $50 for that. I will be doing my All In predictions a little bit after this. They apparently taped Collision right after Dynamite. And it's funny, they taped Rampage after this past weekend's Collision. Yeah, bit weird. I mean, I get it. They don't want to try and tape that stuff. They want to make sure they get it all in the can. And based on the Collision lineup, I don't know if I'm going to be reviewing that because I have a bit of a schedule change. I'm going to be closing on Saturday, and that's going to be a quick turnaround to make sure I'm awake for All In. That's basically the baseline right there. So that's just so you know. So they were at the Gas South Arena in Duluth, Georgia, 13K capacity, and they were set up for around 5,700 people. So if they're using just half the arena, that's not all that bad. And that's via WrestleTix. Want to give them a plug there because they do a lot of great work, with figures and everything. So the memoriam of Terry Funk graphic, that was nice. And the crowd was instantly hot right out of the gate. And Kansas plays. The Elite have ruined Kansas for me, just want to say that. And the Juice Guns are there. And then we get a jump start. The match never actually starts because Rick Knox gets laid out by Juice Robinson, meaning Juice Robinson is instantly one of my favorite wrestlers. I mean, actually, I've appreciated Juice Robinson for a while. And now he's just one of my fucking heroes because he knocked out Rick Knox, who does not deserve to be a referee on any show because he's terrible. But the match never got started because they just beat each other up, and then Jay got involved. Takeshita runs in, FTR comes out, they just fight off, and then Takeshita and Omega have a little bit of a tease. I don't think we're getting that at All Out. I think we're getting that at Dynamite Grand Slam. Nurse that along a little bit, and you'll get a better payoff, at least in my opinion, because it might boost some ticket sales. Because really, they're gonna have to really try hard to get Arthur Ashe Stadium filled. So anyway, yeah, that was that was quite the angle. Oh, it didn't end the show. We're starting the show with it. I will surprise you by saying this episode of Dynamite for a go-home show wasn't all that bad. Renee was with MJF. He says, I'm like the 2023 British Bulldog. If he was Jewish and a good public speaker. He's not wrong. Bulldog, one thing Bulldog could not do was do promos. And that the fans, he placated to the fans in the UK, that they will, that, you know, that it's going to be one of the biggest matches. It's pressure, pushing down on me, pushing down on you, no matter, well, anyway. And he says it's pressure that I'm ready for. And they Cole got him to open up and all this. This is legit. Well, I'm your scumbag. This was good. I encourage you guys to check this out. And then we have Mox thing. You make Duluth sing. And he takes on Phoenix. And it's to hype up all in because both these men are in the Stadium Stampede match, except not really after this. Phoenix was bleeding because Mox was ripping at his mask and then busting his head on the goddamn ramp. It was fine. Mox can work. He still refuses to, and that's kind of annoying because he doesn't need to be the deathmatch guy all the time. Do it occasionally. It'll mean more. And we got a stomp by Phoenix. There was a nice cutter, a nice frog splash. That was a good near fall. Strikes and such, and then they battle on the top rope. That was stupid because it's like, oh, let's hold each other. Boom, boom, boom. And then Avalanche Death Rider and then a choke wins it. Now, again, not that bad of a match, but it was what it was. And then Yuta and Claudio show up with crowbars. What did poor Devon Storm do to deserve this? And they're beating them up. They're just, gang, gang, gang. It's like we're final fighting here, and we need, Mayor Hager to jump out and just powerbomb people. That's a deep goddamn cut. And then, so Penta, Eddie, and the best friends, I assume, show up. Well, actually, the best friends don't show up yet. It's Penta and Eddie, and then suddenly, sudden onset Santana and Ortiz, and they have the cocksock back. I guess they smoothed things over because I thought, and this is what I'd heard, and I'd heard it for a while, Santana and Ortiz weren't on the best of terms. If they are, good. They're a very good team. Regardless, I'm glad that they're both back. I think it was Santana that was injured. I'm glad that he is back. So, best friends come out with absolutely zero enthusiasm, and Phoenix is out of All In. Stretcher, I barely know her. And then we go straight to a DraftKings plug. It's good timing on this. Good timing on this show. By the way, Jack Perry got pushed away from retiring the FTW Championship because they need to do more stuff like this. So, then Eddie yells at Renee because Phoenix got low in the ambulance. I'm going to finish this at All In. Earlier, Renee was with Sammy. More JAS stuff, even though they're not the JAS anymore. This is stupid. Stop it. Shivani's there with Ospreay and Jericho. And about the contract signing. Why was Will Ospreay dressed like a discount John Cena? I don't get it. So, there's a lot of security. Callis says, I got 4 words for you. Will by God Ospreay. The crowd boos Callis, who is too goofy. I can't take Callis seriously. I'm not surprised you guys, though. This is the most serious Jericho has been for a while, and if Jericho would just be more serious like this, I would buy into more of his shit. 2 years ago, Jericho almost died in England, and Cal says he's going to make sure Ospreay finishes the job. And then Will is a bunch of British cliches and accents rolled into one. Oi, bruv, I don't know what the hell he was saying half the time. He mentioned something about a woman that he's with that has a stepson. I don't know when him and Bede broke up, or now Blair Davenport. I don't really care, but okay, good for him, I guess. Maybe you can teach him how to grip people when they need a new van and then not give people merch. And, oh, wait, did I say that? That being said, Will was very, very, very focused. I will be the one man to say that I beat Omega, Okada, and Jericho in the span of 2 months. And his contract is up in New Japan in 6 months. I would be very surprised if Will doesn't re-up with New Japan. Like, what's he going to do? Come to AEW? WWE ain't going to fucking take him. And I don't think he'd go. He says he's the best. He's the best. He's better than anybody. Jericho looks... physically, he looks horrible. I just want to say that. But he says, well, you know, Will, I called you to tell you to tone it down, otherwise you'd end up in a wheelchair like the Dynamite Kid. Dynamite Kid deserved to end up in a wheelchair. I just want to say, by the way, guy's a piece of shit. But this isn't a vanity project for Chris Jericho. I mean, I'm not saying this doesn't mean something to Chris Jericho, but Fozzy is going to be performing live, so yeah, it's a vanity fucking project, just want to say. So, he says, maybe I'm going to regret saying that to tell you to tone it down, and that you should have ended up in a wheelchair. Then we get a shoving match, a pull apart. This, at least they were both taking it seriously. I will give them that much credit. Am I looking forward to the match? So Renee is with Cole for All In. He has his confidence back. MJF has helped, but he has to win. He needs to win this match. And he's upset about people asking if he can trust MJF. Can't people be friends? And then Darby and Nick Wayne took on Swerve and AR Fox. Yeah, there you go. That's what I'm breaking that out for. Referee Aubrey, so we're getting a whole bunch of Defy stuff here. Jumpstart, Tornado Tag, Nick's mom's in the front row. You can definitely tell she's there because she's a very tall, statuesque, and very, very nice lady. I do want to say that. Talked to her at a couple indie shows. Definitely one. I believe I spoke to her on multiple occasions, but at least one where I had a pretty good conversation with her. She is so bright. Tall as hell, too, by the way. I mean, she towers over me. But that being said, very nice. And Nick, I'm so happy for Nick Wayne. What a goddamn talent. What a great kid. Great kid. Great young man. He is doing such great things. They had the thing where, it was the bloody tank top that was, soaked with Nick Wayne's blood and AR Fox had, and then threw it at Nick's mom. I don't know her name. It's not important for the purposes of this equation. But I actually said, I wrote down, I said, AR, I've talked to both of them. She is tough. She will knock you out. She would. She would. She's legit. She's a tough woman. Tough woman. Raised a tough son. And, Buddy, I imagine so proud. I never met Buddy Wayne. But I imagine he's got to be so proud. There's a double Wayne's World party time cutter. Excellent. Woo, woo, woo. And then a coffin drop. We go to break. They beat Nick Wayne up and they beat up Nick Wayne to beat up Darby. We get through the crowd. Darby and Nick are both out. Nick Wayne has a bloody nose. Hopefully he's all right. And then Nick just won't stay down. He keeps firing up. Darby's on the outside. Swerve celebrating. AR Fox misses a 450 and Nick gets a bridge and Swerve gets held back in there. He's like, I need to get the Fox in 3. God damn it. So yeah, okay, they won. All right, AR Fox lost. And then Swerve laughs and says, this is so disappointing. And by disappointing, I mean you, Fox. So they kick him out of the embassy. Gee, Fox, thanks for being part of this angle. We can't trust you in Wembley, so we're going to do this. We could just have beaten you here, but why would we do that? Why would we do any of that? And here's Brian Cage to lay out AR Fox and then Sting. So then Darby, this is after they get run off. Everybody gets run off. And Darby actually says to Fox, you did a lot to me, but you know what? You took care of me, stick your hand out. And I guess Nick's okay with the fact that AR Fox is part of this home invasion and they just destroyed some of the garage. But all was forgiven, I guess. Bit odd there. Nick Wayne's mom looked on approvingly, I assume. And they rushed this. Is AR Fox injured? Is he... if he was injured, I don't think they would have had him work the match, but this is a bit weird. Yes, it's a bit weird. But then Swerve is just laughing, and Darby says, well, now who you got for this? And it's Christian Cage. Christian Cage is going to be part of the coffin match. Like, he was part of that match against Jack Perry. Final Burial, I think is what it was called. Christian then knocks Buddy Wayne. And it worked, I'm going to say right now, it worked better when he did with Jack Perry. He did mention how, Nick, you don't want to go to Wembley because you might have flashbacks seeing one of your loved ones slammed in a coffin. And I'm paraphrasing, but it didn't hit as well. It hit better with Jack Perry. Christian Cage versus Nick Wayne could be interesting if Nick Wayne goes over, even if it's a few matches. But Christian feels like he's kind of just about near the end. I don't know when his contract's up, but I imagine it's up pretty soon. He came over in March of 2021. So I'd be very surprised if he's around, even with injury time, if he's around past Double or Nothing next year. That being said, it was what it was. This was cool. And I imagine Nick and Mom were perfectly okay with this. I imagine Buddy probably, I don't know, but use it. But I think it hit better with Jack Perry. That being said, we get to sit down with FTR and the Bucks. The Bucks are like, the Bucks are disingenuous. I wouldn't believe them no matter what. But, when we retire, we should get our flowers. Yeah, I can think of a couple places where those flowers should be. Planted possibly in a garden, maybe where they can go up on a goddamn hill and they get lost. So, the Bucks are like, we brought you into AEW. Yeah, well, and then FTR instantly outshined them because, FTR are actual wrestlers. And FTR, they need to win. They need to do this. And I don't think they're gonna. I hope they're not gonna, but we'll find out with my predictions. Package on the 4-way. And there was a tag match that was taped for Rampage. That was taped after Collision. And all I said when Ruby came out was, holy fuck, Tony. Holy fuck. Tony Storm looked great. Ruby versus Sky Blue. There was a jump start during Sky Blue's pre-tape. Good timing on that right there, production truck. Sky is improving. This was fine. This was fine for what it was. There was a nice series of near falls. The Skyfall, Flatliner 1-2. No Future, Destination Unknown 1-2-3. Sky wasn't doing too bad there. So it was what it was. Renee is with the Kingdom of Roderick Strong. Do not have Roderick Strong talk. You could have his wife, Marina Shafir, talk. The problem is nobody knows her. So, the Acclaimed march to the ring. They're pissed. They call it the House of Black. Blackout. Here they are. Full entrance. Blackout. And then they're surrounding the ring. And then they have the chain out and everything. Brody King has a chain out. And then suddenly music hits and Billy's here. Billy, don't be a hero. Except he was a hero. And he says, I was perfectly okay leaving. I was perfectly okay retiring. I've had a 32-year career, perfectly okay to walk away, but you destroyed my boots. You beat up Caster. You beat up one of my kids, even though he has actual kids there. And that's it. I'm coming back one more time, all or nothing. Basically, they win the Trios Championships or he retires. Think we're probably going to see we're going to see one of two things. We are either going to see them win the Trios titles or we're going to see Billy turn. And that's just going to negate the whole goddamn thing. So, Collision is an 8-man tag with Punk, Sting, Darby, and a mystery partner against Juice, Luchasaurus, Swerve, and Cage. Samoa Joe on commentary. And then a 6-man tag that involves, I believe, Orange Cassidy and Eddie Kingston on one side, Butcher Blade, Kip Sabian. I don't remember who the other guy is. And Jack Perry retires the FTW Championship. And then we hear from a bunch of stars at All In. So they're going to insert these pre-tapes. I don't know if I'm going to review Collision this week, guys, because if that's it, if those are the only matches, that's not enough. That's barely enough material for Rampage. So All In, rundown, Hardy entrance, Hardy against Aussie Open. The Hardys had a little bit of fire in the beginning, and then it just went to shit. Aussie Open won. Aussie Open praised the fact that they're going to retain. MJF and Cole can't beat them. MJF and Cole come down to a pop. And then they have a bit of a fracas. And then there was a point where MJF had Kyle Fletcher held. Cole went for the super kick. MJF caught the super kick and just had that stone face on his face because he's still the devil. And then he just pushes past Cole, goes to get the ring, puts it back in his pocket, they hug, and then it looked like Cole might have been the one to, but no, he didn't. He did not do that. So, that being said, there we go. AEW All In, and once again, rest in peace, Terry Funk. Tribute video or two, depending on when I can get to them. They'll be up Thursday, Friday, sometime before All In, I'll say that much. So, agree, disagree with what I said, like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Retlin. I'll see you soon.